At the end of the last video, we were driving towards Dodge City, Kansas when we left you in the middle of Oklahoma. And here we are as we're pulling into Dodge City. At the traffic light, we turn left, and we turn left onto Wyatt Earp Boulevard. And we had about 5 miles to the campground, which was Gunsmoke RV Park there in Dodge City, Kansas. Fairly long travel day. We just decided to get set up in camp and get up the next morning and go to Boot Hill Museum. Inside the museum, we saw one of the first travel trailers ever built. I mean, it wasn't pulled by an F-250, it was pulled by a team of horses. Here we have the hide of a buffalo, which was very valuable to the people back in that day. There's the saddle that an Indian wore, and it's made out of buffalo bone, as this placard tells you about. But then we have the saddle of the white man that used back then. Looked a little bit more comfortable to me. This is a recreation of what Main Street looked like in Dodge City back during Wyatt Earp's time. And there are many different shops, and off to the one end of it is Boot Hill Cemetery. This is not an actual cemetery any longer, but it is a recreation of what they believe it looked like back then. It was called Boot Hill because the boots were put under the person's head as a pillow when they were buried. And there's different grave markers there for the people they believe were interred there at that grave site. But if you're going to have graves, you got to have somebody to get them ready to put in the grave. And this is the inside look at a mortician's shop about that time. The caskets were smaller because there was a lot of infants that passed away and other people at younger ages, and also the nutrition, what it is today, said the people were shorter generally. If the sheriff arrested you and threw you in jail, this is the accommodations you had for whatever duration you were there. Not very accommodating. After the jail, we came to a general store, and Vicky struck up a conversation with the lady, and it was a quite interesting time spent there looking around that general store. It had things you could buy today, but also had recreations of what would have been available back in the mid-1800s. There was also a bank on display there, or a recreation of a bank, I should say, with a safe and the ledgers inside the safe and all the various equipment that the bankers would have used back in the middle 1800s. And after that, we went outside, and this is a look from the east end of Main Street there in Dodge City back in the middle 1800s. And then Vicky got to sit down alongside a statue of Doc Holliday, and also then a statue of James Arness, aka Matt Dillon, who truly was 6 foot 7 inches tall. And for those of you too young to remember who Matt Dillon was, he was the marshal in Gunsmoke, a very famous TV series. The next morning, we hooked Rosie up to the trailer, fired everything up, and headed west on our trip. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this video, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one, where we take you to Alamosa, Colorado, and earn further west heading for San Diego, California.